Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here coming at you. So out of the gate, as has been sort of par for the course on when we do our Sunday night shows. Although we're doing two on Sunday night, so you can see behind the curtain here. But this is the first episode. This is the one that's going to come out tomorrow on Monday. I just have a quick football thought.
Are you going to tell me that the slate sucks?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously the slate sucks. It always sucks. No, so I think this is insane, right? This is borderline insane what I'm going to say. I understand that. I know that anyone that listens to this that follows football is going to be like, that's the dumbest fucking take ever. But just hear me out. So I've seen a couple tweets, and I saw one that just now, again, that I'll go over. But I think if the Minnesota Vikings make the playoffs, if I worked for the Associated Press, which clearly I don't, I did clearly don't even fucking come close to being able to work for the AP. But if I did, and the Vikings made the playoffs, I would cast my vote for MVP to Josh Dobbs. Well, because what he did today was insanely impressive. And I know he went, was it 1-7 before he got traded from the Cardinals, but he looked good. And of the 7 losses, I think 5 of them were probably close games. Like, I don't think they got blown out. I mean, I think there might have been 2 games
they eventually
where they got blown
did.
out.
So it's like they lost week 1 to the Commanders. It was close. I think they blew that lead against the Giants in week 2. Like they fought. Then they beat the Cowboys. Like they fought until it was like maybe 4 games.
Yeah.
They fought pretty hard, and they were probably 1-3.
And then
it started to go
before that,
sideways.
Josh Dobbs spent the entire preseason with the Cleveland Browns. He got cut by the Cleveland Browns at the end of the preseason and got signed by the Arizona Cardinals going into week 1. And then he was the starter. So he took over the Arizona Cardinals after being there for like 6 days. He was the starting quarterback. And again, out of the gate, they might have started like 1-3. They had some close games. He looks good, right? Then he gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings. And this week is obviously, today was his first game. He was the backup because he just got traded 5 days ago to the Vikings. And Jaron Hall, the rookie, was starting, and he gets a concussion in the first quarter. And in comes Joshua Dobbs, and he leads them to a fucking win. And he looks good doing it. So the tweet that I've referenced, I said there was a few tweets and I've seen them, but the one I have right in front of me is from someone called Alec Lewis. I don't know if he's a beat writer or whatever. I don't know. I didn't look into him, but he said he's connected with Ben Volen and Jeff Howe. So I'm assuming he's in the media in some capacity. He goes, unbelievable. Josh Dobbs said during the post game that Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell was essentially translating calls and mapping out plays mid-huddle as the play clock was ticking down. Kevin O'Connell called Dobbs' ability to handle it all one of the most impressive things he's ever seen in his career. So for anyone that doesn't know, like, just real quick about football, quarterbacks have a microphone in their helmet where they can hear the offensive coordinator and the head coach or whatever. They have a direct line. Well, not a direct line because they can't respond, but they can hear the plays being called, and they relay that. So I might be botching this, but on a 25-second play clock, they get until the play clock hits 10 seconds before their mics automatically cut off. And then I think on a 40-second play clock, I think they get until 15 seconds before their mics automatically cut off. So again, they have anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds roughly to communicate. It's a one-way communication again. Either the head coach or the offensive coordinator or both are calling plays into the helmet of the quarterback, so the quarterback in the huddle can tell everyone the play. According to this guy that works in the press, Kevin O'Connell was mapping out the plays for Josh Dobbs pre-snap until, the microphone cut off at the automatic time, whatever it is. And Josh Dobbs would still run the play and be able to figure it out. And he looked good. He looked really good. I was watching the game on Red Zone. So I think that's impressive. So, and again, I hinge my hypothetical Associated Press MVP vote on the fact that the Vikings need to make the playoffs, right? Like if Josh Dobbs comes out and they go fucking 2-7 the rest of the way and he looks pedestrian, then yeah, obviously, whatever. But like, I think there should be legitimate discussion about him for MVP if he can pull it off.
So there's a couple avenues we can go down here. So this would, number one, have to imply that the MVP is the actual true most valuable player to that team.
Right. Assuming we're going by the book, right? By the definition. Right. Yeah.
Not the most popular player
in the NFL
on the best team.
Yes.
No, because it's not in the NFL. It's got to be the best team.
Right.
So it would have to imply that, which won't happen. So like he's not going to, like in the real world, if they do make the playoffs, he's not going to get the nod over Mahomes, Allen, Hurts,
right, Jackson,
Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson,
right,
even Purdy,
yeah,
they are like so far, like he would be so far down the line,
right.
The other thing that I would hinge on too is what happens when Justin Jefferson does get back, because if they're lighting it up, obviously, like Justin Jefferson has to catch the ball from somebody.
Right.
But now the MVP talks to Justin Jefferson, not
right, because he's
Josh
the most
Dobbs,
popular player on that team.
Because he's the more popular player on that team.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, if we were really talking about like what player is most is most key, whatever. For most teams, it's probably like the center. Because it's like if you take Creed Humphrey away from the Chiefs, are they going to be as good as they are right now?
Right.
Probably not. No, obviously there's like extenuating circumstances there. So it's like the MVP discussion is always a tough one, because whoever is truly the MVP of the team probably doesn't actually get it. And again, obviously it sucks because no one works on a fucking island here.
Right.
So I don't know. I also don't know if I don't know if it helps or hurts that like he doesn't actually know the plays, yet he's making it work. So it's like, couldn't anyone it's like, couldn't anyone just hop back there and get the plays explained to them and execute? Or is it just him is the only one that can figure it? Like, that's what I mean is like,
so
that's just your matter of opinion.
But another thing in the Josh Dobbs story is he quite literally is an astrophysicist. He has a degree from University of Tennessee in astrophysics.
Do you think any MVP voter gives a flying fuck about
No. But I'm saying like his ability, like what I'm saying is he's really fucking smart. Right. So like his ability to come in and figure shit out after being on a team for 5 days and having the head coach, who's also the offensive play caller, in his helmet for 15 seconds, breaking down what's going to happen on the play, and him being able to diagnose and figure out, I think has a lot to do with the fact that he's really fucking smart. He's a literal rocket scientist. Like,
I don't think he's performed surgery on any rockets.
yeah. But I just think it's super impressive what he did today.
Yeah, I mean, so I heard or I saw someone's quick thing on it and it was like he doesn't even know half the team's for like full names.
Yeah.
Because that's for next week. Like,
yeah.
So
he's been there for 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, if they but then the other thing too is like if they just make the playoffs, is what he's doing more impressive than what anyone on the Lions is doing? Probably not. Now the Lions probably don't have an MVP candidate because Goff's the quarterback.
Right.
And St. Brown doesn't put up the numbers that he needs to.
Right.
So that's where, you're probably pulling coach of the year from the Lions if they end up getting like 1-2 seed, something like that.
Right.
Like it doesn't go to Sirianni. They went to the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
Like what you're doing is not impressive.
Right. You should be good.
Right.
Like, yeah.
That's also not how, well, I guess coach of the year voting does go a little bit more that way. It's more so like, it's not just Andy Reid every year because they always get the one.
Yeah. It's who
actually is the best coach.
Right.
And they it looks at like, where was the team last year?
Right.
How did they win this year?
Brian Daboll won it last year.
Which he should have, because that Giants team was fucking bad.
Absolute garbage, which we're seeing this year.
Yeah. And Daniel Jones, too, blew his knee out.
Yeah. So have fun with Danny DeVito.
What a fucking cocksucker that guy was at Syracuse. Yeah, so I mean, like, when you're talking, oh my God. Sorry, we were just talking about Daboll. They just ran like a double reverse and it ended up in a sack.
Yeah, I caught the end of it.
Like they were gonna
like a tight end.
So this is the thing. So Brian Daboll won Coach of the Year last year, which was extremely relevant. He probably was the Coach of the Year because that Giants team was not very good. They ended up winning games. Now, as the metrics showed, they were not a very good team. And
one Ian Mack, shout out to Ian, called them frauds.
Yep. Now, it just so happened that they caught the Vikings, also frauds, in the first round, and then, appropriately got stomped out by Philly.
Right.
You have no quarterbacks right now. You have one. Why the fuck would you have him go out for a pass from the tight end? Why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
On a double reverse. You have actual NFL receivers. Just throw it to them.
Yeah.
The sole healthy quarterback you have. Because all he has to do is step funny. High ankle.
Right.
And it's like, he doesn't even need to get like wiped out.
Also, are they home?
I don't know.
Meadowlands turf. If Daniel Jones blew out his knee.
Where they play? Oakland. Not Oakland. Vegas. Are they
Vegas?
playing in Vegas?
Are they at Vegas? I don't know.
Whatever. So yeah,
something because like the Meadowlands turf is notorious for taking guys ACLs.
Yes. But anyway, to wrap up like the Josh Dobbs thing, like, yeah, it would be interesting if they made the playoffs, but at the same time, before the season.
And I'm not saying he's going to win, right?
No.
By no stretch of the imagination.
Should he get a vote?
I think he should get one vote. Just as like an acknowledgement of like, hey man, what you did was like pretty fucking awesome this year.
It might also
go from Cleveland to Arizona to Minnesota and then make the playoffs with Minnesota, right? So they're what, 5-4 or 6-4?
I don't know, but yeah, because then it's also going to depend on what the competition is too.
They're 5-4 right now, so they have 3, 6, 7. They have 8 games left. I mean, the rest of their season is the Saints at the Broncos, home with the Bears, and then they have the bye. So before the bye, They should beat the Broncos and the Bears, and the Saints is kind of a toss up, right? Because the Saints have a good
I don't know what the
defense.
fuck that team is.
No one does. No one does. Like they might show up and be a good team one week and then suck the next week, but they should beat the Broncos and the Bears. And let's just say they lose to the Saints, right? So that's 7-5 coming out of the bye. They're at Vegas. That's a win. At Cincinnati, it's probably a loss. So that's 8-6. And then they have home against the Lions. I say they win that one, right? And then they're home against the Packers, and then they finish out at the Lions. So say they split the Lions, right? They win at home, lose on the road. That's what is that? 10-7. They finish the year.
I mean, it's probably good enough to get in.
Yeah.
So I guess another thing that harms them though is they should be a playoff team. The Vikings. Now they weren't.
I mean, they should have
their
been,
roster,
assuming Kirk Cousins was the quarterback.
But their roster going into the season, like they should have been a playoff team.
Right.
So it's like if he gets them to the playoffs, it's just got to be like hyper situational voting.
Right.
Which they won't do. And I could then also argue that if the Bengals end up making the playoffs, that Joe Burrow should be the MVP because when he was not healthy, again, because we're being hyper situational,
right.
When he was not healthy, they looked abysmal.
Yes.
Absolutely abysmal. And then he was healthy, or he's been healthier for the last 2 weeks, and they actually look like a fucking functional football team.
Right.
So if it's like if the Bengals make the playoffs and the Vikings make the playoffs, and again, we're using situational, we're not fucking around with this shit. I would actually argue that Burrow's probably the better one because of how bad they looked when he was not right. Thus making him the most valuable player to any team. Because they looked like a fucking for team.
They were 1-3, 1-4.
It was bad. It was a little nasty.
2-4, maybe they were, I think, at one point.
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably just gonna be Jalen Hurts. Who won last year? Mahomes?
Probably. But like, right, like this year is the one year where like there's no like, so we're halfway through the season and there's no like clear cut. Oh my God, this guy is gonna run away with the MVP. There's been so many injuries, right? Justin Jefferson would have been the only non-quarterback, really.
Him and Tyreek.
Yeah, him. And I mean, I guess if things continue the way they're on, you could make the argument for Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he's got a streak of 17 straight games of scoring a touchdown. I have no idea what he's on pace for, but he's consistently, rushing for 1,500 yards and receiving for 1,000 yards, right? So like it could be a McCaffrey year, right? Like, because this year, like Mahomes isn't Mahomes, right?
So
Jalen Hurts is kind of getting by.
So right now on the odds board, Mahomes, Hurts, and Tua, depending on where you go, they could all be the top or not.
Yeah.
Then Lamar, then Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers. That's hilarious.
Well, that's a story, right? If Aaron Rodgers comes back and the Jets make the playoffs, and like I know technically the MVP season,
it's a regular
MVP
season
voting
thing.
Doesn't involve the playoffs. But if Aaron Rodgers comes back, the Jets make the playoffs and they win a playoff game, I mean,
yeah, you don't get to vote on that though, because then you'll look at it too, like, oh, how good can he be? They made the playoffs without him,
right?
Yeah, then after that, it's all high odds. Like none of these guys are going to get. Like Burrow's like anywhere from 11 to 20 to 1. Trevor Lawrence is anywhere 18 to 22. McCaffrey's anywhere from 14 to 50. Where is he 50? Points bet. We don't have points bet.
No. Gonna say
Purdy's anywhere like
McCaffrey might be a sneaky MVP.
22 to 40. So this is the thing though. I don't think it's gonna get outside those top three. Mahomes, Hurts, Tua. And if it does, how are they gonna go past Lamar Jackson?
Yeah.
Have they lost? What have they lost? 2 games?
Yeah, they're 6-2 or 7-2 after today.
Yeah, so I mean they're probably gonna win the North. Like when they win, they kick the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how you get beyond Lamar Jackson, unless somehow the Bengals get the 1 seed.
Right.
I don't know. It honestly, it just seems like whoever the quarterback of the 1 seed in the AFC is going to be the MVP.
Yeah, I mean that sounds pretty reasonable.
Unless it's Hurts, but I think what hurts. I think what goes against Hurts is the defense, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, AJ Brown.
Right. Like AJ Brown is absolutely fucking lighting it up this year as a wide receiver. He's let me see if I can find it really quick. Oh, I don't think I have his full season stats in front of me, but I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row where he's had at least 127 yards receiving. So like week 1, he played New England. He had 10 catches for 79 yards. Week 2, he had 6 catches for 29 yards. And then since week 3, he's gone 9 for 131, 9 for 175 and 2 touchdowns, 6 for 127, 7 for 131, 10 for 137 and a touchdown, 8 for 130 and 2 touchdowns. And then as of right now, he's got 7 for 66 and a touchdown. It's literally 3 straight weeks where the lowest receiving yards he had was 127 yards.
Isn't it funny though? Like the most valuable player, like award, like the name of it sucks. Because
yeah, I would agree with that.
If we just went by pure definition of what's the most valuable player or the most important player to a team, right, I would actually say that Mac Jones 100% is the fucking most important player to this Patriots team because when he sucks, they suck, and he has sucked all year.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a positive development. But if they had even a competent guy back there, they probably, what are they? They only had the 2 bad losses, or am I forgetting one?
They're 2-7 right now.
And only 2 of them, they were like out of it. Like they had the ball in their hands to win against 3, because that Miami game was close, but not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had the ball with a chance to win against Miami and Philly early. They had never had a chance against Dallas or the Saints. So I mean, they have 3 losses.
Yeah.
If you have a competent quarterback.
It's tough life. What can you do?
Doesn't matter. He's playing here next year, no matter how much you people don't want him.
Yeah.
Nice and cheap.
So that'll be his 4th year, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll pick up his option.
Yeah.
They have to make that decision, but his option's still cheap too. I mean, didn't we do the salaries?
Yeah.
We did do that, right? I didn't just do that at work.
You might have done that at work. I don't think we talked about it.
Oh, okay. So all the people, I'll just summarize. I'll make it quick. All the people that want Mac Jones gone, you better be prepared to spend at least 25 million a year on a quarterback, and that 25 million gets you Jimmy Garoppolo. So be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. So the 5th-year option is $23 million.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe they don't pick it up because 23 is a big number. Like I think, or I mean, it's not a big number; it's bigger.
But I mean, if I were the Crafts and I'm sitting there, I mean, I don't have it in front of me to look, but just say like, because you'd be looking at the off season in 2025, right? The free agent class for 2025. Do you want to pay Mac Jones 23 million, or do you want to pay Kirk Cousins 30 million? Right? Because assuming he takes a 1-year deal next year as like a prove it somewhere, he'll probably be on the market for 2025. Like there'll be guys out there that you can get. I don't know what Jared Goff or Matt Stafford's contract situations are, but like,
they're way
again,
more than 25.
right? But like, would you, if you're gonna spend 23 on Mac Jones's 5th year, like, would you spend 35 for Matt Stafford?
Guess it depends on the team.
Yeah,
Because if you can't go for a run for a Super Bowl, no, you don't pay 35 for Matt Stafford.
right. You just
You just
draft
take
another. You draft
no,
another
yeah,
guy
you draft
and
another guy and try again,
hope he's the guy.
or like, yeah, whatever. Like if the team around him still sucks, like those guys, like by the time those guys are around, there'll be stopgaps, and or I mean, I guess Stafford specifically, like that's like he'll be no better than fucking Matt Ryan or Phil Rivers for the Colts. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So 2025, I found it. Shout out to Spotrac. In 2025, your free agent quarterback class, as it stands right now, assuming these guys don't get extended and things like that, number 1 on the list, Dak Prescott. So he's going to get paid, right?
He'll probably get
So would you
35,
rather
40.
Would you rather have Mac Jones for 23 or Dak for 40?
How many years do I get Dak for?
I don't know how old he's going to be in 2025, but
That's like
say
9 years into the league, 10 years into the league. So we'll probably be like 32.
he'll be 32.
So that's 4. You can probably get him for 4 years. Oh, shit. 4 years.
4 years,
Dak.
40 million a year. So what is that? 160. I'd probably do it.
I don't know. It's just, again, it depends on how good the team around him is. Like if it's a team, if the surrounding cast is good enough to like be in the playoffs and
Right. So that's the
make
thing.
some noise.
Dak is certainly
Fine.
not the quarterback. He's not a Tom Brady, right? He's not going to turn fucking shit into rainbows. He's not going to take Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, and Chris Hogan to the AFC Championship game. But when he has CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Brandon Cooks, he looks really good, right? So if in
Yeah, but the
2025
other thing
it's
too with Dak though, he doesn't.
Juju and fucking a bag of dicks,
No,
right?
these guys
Like,
can't be around. They'll be fucking dead by then.
yeah.
But the thing with Dak is I just don't, again, like I don't think he's that good. So it's like the 40 million number just doesn't seem to make any sense. The only reason I didn't say no flat out was that could be the rate by then.
Right.
Like that just could be the number. Because like right now, like would you pay 20 million for Ryan Tannehill right now?
20 million?
Yeah.
Sure.
Ugh. Why? What does he do? Like that's what I mean. Like, but like what benefit does he do? You're paying Mac like 6 million right now.
Okay, so right this season, then
I said
yeah,
right now.
give me. Well, I mean, the way I look at it is like the season's basically over, so I would look at next season.
So would you want Ryan Tannehill next year, say 2 for 40, and Mac is still on your roster because
Yeah.
he's still cheap next year. It's the year after.
No, in that
Yeah.
scenario, no.
Well, Ryan Tannehill currently makes $20 million.
Right. But I feel like that's a fine number for Ryan Tannehill.
But I think some people forget, like that's the minimum now.
Yeah.
And I think when you start getting some guys actually moving around, like the minimum might be 25 next year.
The 2025 class for free agents at quarterback has got some fucking studs. So Dak was just the first name that I said.
Yeah, who else you got?
Jared Goff. So all these guys are unrestricted free agents. Again, assuming they don't get extended or whatever. So Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence.
So Lawrence won't get there. So next.
Right. Tua
won't get there next.
He probably won't get there. Then it kind of drops off. So you get Jordan Love as an unrestricted free agent.
If he gets there, you don't want him.
Yeah, he's not,
because that means he sucks.
Trey Lance.
Nope.
Justin Fields. Now that's an interesting one because he's in the same draft class as Mac.
Right.
So that'll be his 5th-year option. That's assuming that Chicago doesn't pick up his 5th-year option.
Right. So that's going to be more than 23 million.
Yeah. Then, I mean, after that, it's like
it's fucking scrap heap.
Taylor Heineke, fucking Sam Ellinger, obviously Mac Jones, Case Keenum.
Yeah, these people are bums.
Yeah. Nick Mullins, right? But like the top of the list is pretty legit. Again, assuming those guys don't get a contract between now and then.
So this is the thing though, if Tua or Trevor Lawrence don't get re-signed by their team, that means they must suck. So why would you want them? Like that's where my head's at. Like if something happens between now and then, like because I would take Trevor Lawrence if he gets to free agency. Like he seems fine.
I'd give him 40 million.
If the Jet, you have to give him more than that. Probably gonna have to give him 5 and 50, but because like when he gets to free agency, he'll reset the number again. So whatever Burrow makes, just more.
I think it depends on how he does between now and then.
But it's also that's the thing though. It's 2 years from now.
Right, but if he's because this year he's not having an awesome year. He's like a top 15 quarterback. He's like somewhere between 10 and 15. If he does that for the next 2 years, say over the next 2 years, he's the number 12 quarterback, or call it the number 10. Is the number 10 ranked quarterback going to reset the market in free agency? I don't think so.
I just feel like with him specifically, I think it would. Unless, again, for a top 10, yes. Because you got to remember, top 10 is pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't know. It would be his first. It would be his first contract after his rookie deal, right?
And remember, Deshaun Watson reset the market too.
Yeah.
After sitting out,
but Deshaun Watson was good.
Yeah, but he sat out a year.
Right. But before he sat out, he was
subject to suspension.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I look at it like because you have to bring that into play too, right? Is the age and the contract.
Right.
So like Trevor Lawrence, it'll be his first real contract, so it'll be big. Dak is not going to reset the market. Like Dak could win MVP next year, and he's not going to reset the market at 32 years old.
No, but the only thing you risk is like 4 and 45.
Right.
Like I don't know if someone's giving him that. I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
The Browns made Deshaun Watson completely guaranteed. Like I don't know.
Yeah. Like Jared Goff is not going to reset the market.
No, he's not going to reset the market, but he's probably going to get more money. So him and Dak are like a very similar situation because they're good. Like they are better than the average quarterback. With the right supporting cast, they can be successful. But if you don't have that supporting cast, they're going to be very pedestrian.
Yeah.
Now, there's only like 6 guys that you can take the supporting cast away from, and they'll be good. Like, that's all you can do. Like, Lamar Jackson has never had a supporting cast.
Right.
He's had a good tight end the whole time. That's it.
Yeah. Pat Mahomes would be
Pat
good
Mahomes could win with
regardless.
anybody.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing it this year.
Yep. Like, there's only a few guys that can pull that off.
So, I would make the case for Josh Allen. He's really only had Stephon Diggs. That's it. Like, I know Stephon Diggs is arguably a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, but like, who does he have other than him?
Yeah. Everyone else seems serviceable. Yeah, maybe Josh Allen. Maybe he's my 6th of it. Because I just remember, like, when he goes full retard, it's so bad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's hard to do the free agent thing. Because, again, like, you can sign a free agent if you hit in the draft on all your other guys. But if you're not doing that and your line isn't cheap,
right,
and you paid for a receiver, and you pay a quarterback 40, 45 million a year, someone else has to fucking take a hit. And it's like, if it's your safeties or your corner, like, it's got to be somewhere.
Yeah. So
we'll see.
We shall see.
Mac will be here next year.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure will make everybody happy.
So, moving away from the football talk, but before we get into anything else, we have a somewhat relatively just sports. But we do have another loser lap to take. We've had a lot of those recently. Bobby Knight died the other day. So I went back and looked because I saw that and I was like, I feel like he was in the death pool at one point. So I went back and checked our notes. I had Bobby Knight in 2021. So I was 2 years too early.
You're just you're seeing the world before it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I have that foresight of picking an old guy.
You've got good vision right now.
Yeah.
Especially when Bam dies on fucking January 2nd, 2024.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. So yeah, just a quick loser lap there. Bobby Knight, for anyone that doesn't know, he's a legendary college basketball coach, coached at Indiana. Everyone knows him for throwing the chair and choking his players. So
the original hothead.
Yeah. At least in like when the media was big, right? I'm sure there was insanity going on in like the 20s and 30s and 40s, but
fucking coaches putting out fucking cigar butts on guys and shit.
Yeah. But there was no heavy media coverage back then. So all right. What else we got going on here? Oh, okay. So this is an interesting one that I kind of want to bring up because it is relatively topical. Like I said, we're doing 2 episodes tonight on Sunday, so the next episode we do won't come out till Thursday. So I do want to keep this one relatively in time-wise. But a couple days ago, right? I think potentially yesterday or Friday, there was an incident at Swampscott High School where there was a field hockey game between Swampscott and Dighton Rehoboth. I think it was playoffs, but it would be because
those two teams would never.
Those two teams are like literally on the opposite ends of the fucking world.
They're both like impossible places to get to.
Yeah, if you know anything about Massachusetts geography, Dighton Rehoboth is like way south. Yeah, it's south of Taunton. It's like, I don't know. It's in a weird fucking spot of Massachusetts. It's actually not that far from me because I've golfed in Rehoboth and it's only taken me like 20 minutes to get there. But and then Swampscott is like fucking Salem. Think Salem, Gloucester, like that area for anyone,
but harder to get to.
But harder to get to. Yeah, for people that aren't actually from Massachusetts, or the people that are that don't know the fucking geography of the
Think
state.
about how easy it is to get to Hull and Cohasset. That's like Swampscott.
Yeah, it's fucking miserable.
If you're not already there, like if you're in Nahant, it's very easy to get to, or Marblehead.
Yeah. If you live there,
But
it's easy. But
if you need to get to Hull from Stoughton, good luck.
Yeah. So there was a field hockey game between Swampscott and DR. And the Swampscott field hockey team has a player that identifies as female, that is a biological male, who is a senior, which I think that piece of information is important when I get to the story. But there was an incident in the game where the transgender female field hockey player took a shot at the net, and the ball came up off the ground and hit one of the girls from DR in the face, and it fucked up her face pretty bad. Like, it knocked out multiple teeth. And I think I saw somewhere that she may need like facial like plastic surgery, right? I was gonna say facial reconstruction surgery. That makes it sound a lot worse than it fucking, like, I'm sure it's not that bad, right? Like, at worst, she probably lost a few teeth and like ripped her lip in half, or like broke her nose, or like maybe broke her orbital bone. Like, I'm sure she doesn't need complete facial reconstructive surgery. But she does need plastic surgery. And she lost a bunch of teeth. So I saw the video. You can't really see anything in the video because it's a high school field hockey game, and the video is like someone videoing it from the bleachers on the side. But what you can see is the transgender girl take the shot, hits the girl from DR in the face. She immediately hits the ground. Her teammates run over, and then immediately, as soon as her teammates see her, they all start screaming, because there's audio in the video. They start screaming, and then one girl turns around, and I'm pretty sure she didn't throw up, but it looked like she threw up. She like bent over, put her hands on her knees, like then cupped her face and like did the whole thing. The goalie ran over and then saw what happened and like threw her mask off and like ran back into the net and like crying. Like, there were athletic trainers and parents, but I'm assuming maybe a parent potentially, or maybe it could have been the coach, but there were athletic trainers and probably the coach were sprinting across the field. It didn't look good, right? Again, you can't see the actual injury, but like, again, from the camera in the bleachers that caught it, like, didn't look like a good situation to be in. And to be fair, because the camera continued to roll, right? So the teams take a knee, they all come together. You can see, I think her number is 2, is the girl on Swampscott that took the shot. You can see she's pretty shaken up, right? Like, she's on a knee in a circle with her team, and there's a couple other girls that come over and like rub her back. Like, she's clearly not in a good spot. Like, I don't think it was intentional, right? But it's an accident, and it happens in sports. And part of me says that, or part of me thinks that this potentially could have happened regardless of who took the shot. But part of me says you have a senior who is a biological male, again, transgender female. And I said that's important because an 17, 18-year-old male looks very different than a 14-year-old male, like a freshman, right? Like a 13, 14-year-old male. So an 17, 18-year-old male versus a 17, 18-year-old female, 2 very different body types. And now, again, the camera from the bleachers, it's not like it was fucking Jay Cutler out there, right? Like the girl is like kind of tall and lanky looking again, so it's not like she was like a fucking bodybuilder, like a football player, like, right? It's not
I would
like
say,
the
which Jay Cutler?
yeah Jay Cutler, the bodybuilder.
Smoking Jay?
Yeah, I'll say Ronnie Coleman. That's a better example. Or Arnold Schwarzenegger is
Well,
probably
dude,
one
even
better
if it
one.
was smoking Jay Cutler, it's like still like
Yeah.
he
So
was not a small guy.
so it didn't appear that it was like this shredded 18-year-old dude that was like, yeah, I'm a female, right? It was kind of like tall and skinny, but like you could kind of tell a little bit that it was a little bit taller than the other people on the field. So I don't know, right?
I have a lot of thoughts about this, and it's going to be a little disorganized.
Okay.
Okay.
Spray him.
So, number one, anyone who gets hit in the mouth with a field hockey ball is going to be in a world of hurt. Let's just let the record show that.
Correct.
Obviously, the harder it's shot, more damage it does. That's just physics. Title IX allows males, whether they identify as fucking males, females, or fucking oranges.
Church mice.
MIAA rules allow males to participate in field hockey when there is not a male option. So that could have happened.
I did see that in the comments.
That could have happened with anything. That could have happened in volleyball. That could have happened because most schools do not have men's volleyball. Some schools do.
Right.
Could have happened. A woman decided that she was going to wrestle. Like, woman's going to play football. Like if there is not a male option for that sport, you can get a waiver to play.
Right.
So, so at Medford High School, if in 2006, if I wanted to play field hockey, I could have put in the waiver and I could have played field hockey against all the girls and whatever. Right. Probably wouldn't have hit the stupid thing hard enough to fucking fuck anybody up, but hey, here we are. I also like that there is a lot of inconsistency in the reporting, because I don't know if you've seen this. Because when Michaela first told me, it was someone, again, it was a transgender player. And then I immediately thought, I'm like, but males are allowed to play field hockey. So if you go to certain articles, this person is considered male. And they have every right to play because males are allowed to play field hockey with the girls under Title IX.
Right.
But then you go to other articles and they say this is a transgender person. I don't know which one's right. I don't know which one's right or wrong.
So I saw a clip from I forget whether it was the principal of the school or the superintendent in Swampscott. And I think they said it was a transgender woman or transgender female girl.
Yeah, so right. I'm on, what is this, Channel 5, WCVB?
Yeah.
One of the quotes is that male players they have every right to play
right
as any other female under MIAA guidelines. So that's what I mean is like this article specifically doesn't bring it up, whether it's again a transgender person or a transitioning person or whatever.
Right.
New York Post also doesn't allude to whether this person's transgender or not. But like then again, I'll find another article or the original tweet or whatever, and it says it was a transgender person. So
right.
I also like to, because let's just let the record show you and I are both on the same page. Biological males should not be playing women's sports.
1000% agreed. Yeah.
Now, as in that's generally speaking, we say that as transgender. This is a very unique situation because if a male wants to play field hockey, they don't have in Massachusetts. Usually, they don't have an option. In Ireland, they got plenty of options. Field hockey is huge for males over there.
Yeah.
Usually, you have to play with the females if you want to play field hockey. Now, that's also a very, very specific situation. Because why are you playing field hockey against the women? Are you from Ireland or did you grow up not really playing sports? Like,
Right.
Why the fuck are you doing this? Because I was never introduced to field hockey because that is a girl sport.
Right.
And that's not a girl sport like anything guys go. It's not that. It's a fucking girl sport.
Right.
Every high school has it as a girl sport, period, done. End of story.
Right.
So I just like that they're also, again, whether I'm trying to find something that doesn't exist, there's a discrepancy in who this person is.
Right.
Are they transgender or are they not?
Right.
If they're not, why didn't these wait, if the person's not transgender, why are some people saying that he is?
Right.
And if this person is transgender, and in 2023 isn't misgendering a fucking problem, why are these articles saying it's a male?
Right.
Now, generally speaking, I don't think this person's fucking identity, orientation, whatever fucking word we're using, because I'm not going to get it right.
Yeah.
I don't think that's relevant, because just because this person has every right to play the sport under MIAA rules doesn't mean that they should, because this is the exact type of reason why they shouldn't.
Right.
Now, genuinely, I don't know if most girls have the gas to bring a fucking field hockey shot that fast. I don't know. I would like to think.
I mean, I'm
if you
sure
have like
some of them do, but
I'd
like
like to think if you have a Division I field hockey
I
player
was
on
just
that
gonna say
field,
the ones that are gonna go play D1 in college probably do. Right. Like
I would like to think that they could bring it. Now,
Yeah.
again, I don't know how hard this kid shot either.
Right.
Maybe he rips it. I don't know. Or
Yeah.
maybe he just fucking happened to hit it perfectly. Couldn't tell
Right.
you. But yeah, it's like weird that like some people are going to use this as their opportunity to flex. See, this is why transgender shouldn't play. It's like, yeah, it's an example, but like most of the time we just don't want biological males swimming against biological females when there's a male race.
Right.
This ain't it, because this is a different story.
Yeah.
This is about a sport that's not available. Like, and let's say you went to Framingham High. I think it's Framingham. I think I knew some kids. They played men's volleyball at Framingham High.
Mm-hmm.
And say you transfer out because you moved, and now you're at Arlington High. And Arlington High only has women's volleyball, but they say, hey, you can play if you want to. And you go, you know what? I only got one more year of this. I'll just fucking do it. Why not? Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I don't care. I love volleyball. Whatever. That is a completely different situation to what the transgender argument is. Now, if this is what it takes to get that conversation going and keep women in women's events and keep participation high and fair competition and all that crap, then I'm good with it. Because again, I just don't feel like there's a situation where transgender people should be, or biological males transitioning or whatever transitioned should be in biological female events. And I think I said that right. I don't know. I'm getting confused with all these fucking words. It's just like, if this is what gets it done, like, okay. But it's like, you're really kind of just dragging everybody through the mud on it. Because it's like whoever the player for Swamp, I think it's the player for Swampscott that shot.
Yes.
And the girl from DR is the one who got fucking blasted.
Yes.
It's like, what did you just do to that kid? Like, especially if he's not transgender.
Right.
Because we don't know. Like, we've seen both.
Yeah, we don't have confirmation either way.
Again, a lot of those tweets said, it's a transgender person. And then it's like, well, if they are transgender, it's like, that's a fucking footnote. Because if they were, whether they are or aren't, they're
still allowed to play.
Are allowed to play.
Right.
So this could have happened no matter what.
Right.
So yeah, it's an odd one. It's like, it might get the conversation going, but like, theoretically it shouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And I was going to get to that too, was the whole, if this is what starts the discussion and like gets the ball rolling, like you said, then so be it. Right? It is what it is. If this is what it's going to take
Right.
for people to like open their eyes and be like, oh shit, like obviously it's an awful situation for this girl from DR. You know, her face is fucked up. But is this what it's going to take? Is it going to take a girl getting severely injured for people to like be okay with even having the conversation? Because prior to this, if you even broach the topic, you're a fucking bigot. Right. But like now it seems to be a little bit okay to at least have the discussion.
Well, hopefully, because before you get to, let's just take hockey, we have an 18-year-old biological male playing ice hockey, which is no contact. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a accidental collision.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we've seen hockey players get like permanently injured before.
Yeah. I forget the kid's name, but the kid that
There was a
got
kid in Massachusetts.
the kid that got paralyzed.
Yeah, there was a kid in Massachusetts. There was Travis
That
Roy. Like,
yeah.
it's not, it's rare, but it's not unprecedented.
Right.
And like, generally, that's the type of stuff we're talking about. Now, if it's swimming or if it's golf, no one's getting hurt, right?
Right. Right.
So it's strictly a competition issue. It's a competition participation issue.
Right.
But I mean, what we're seeing right now is then like, yeah, accidents happen. You know, if you're playing softball, biological male sends one right back at the pitcher.
Yeah.
Could anyone have sent a ball back at the pitcher and hit them in the face? Yeah. What if the girl's not expecting a fucking exit velocity that
Right.
that biological male could put on it?
Right. Right.
So it sucks that it takes like, I'll call it tragedy. I'll call it, yeah, it's tragedy.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
girl
It's tragic.
tragic.
Yeah.
Are there bigger tragedies? Yes, because I presume she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Traumatic, definitely.
Couple surgeries here and there. She'll be fine.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. She's gonna live.
Right. Right. Right.
Fucking sucks. It's gonna fucking that's shitty.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get somewhere with it.
Like her sports career is probably done.
I don't know how you sit out there. I don't know how you would. I don't know how the fuck you would play another game of field hockey.
Nope. I wouldn't be able to.
I mean, I guess you can.
And that's why I was surprised. So I mean, obviously you know this, but for our listeners and watchers, I lived with the girls field hockey team at Bridgewater in college. So I went to a lot of their game, like almost every single home game they had, I was there. And when they took a corner, right, like a equivalent to like a corner kick in soccer, the girls on defense had masks. So like they all ran over, they kept them by the net. So they all ran over to the net behind the goalie and they put face shields on. And then they did the play and then they like took them off and like threw them. So like I was surprised, and like maybe in high school they don't have the budget, which like if that's the
so that's the thing though, it wasn't a corner.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that could be it too. I think it might have been. But
okay, so maybe it was like a free shot. Do they have free shots in field hockey? It was from like the center of the field.
Yeah, the ball came from the ball. I saw the full clip. The ball came from like where you would kick the ball.
Oh, before it got to the kid who shot?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I saw the clip I saw was from the very beginning of the play.
Oh, I only saw the shot on net.
Yeah, no. So it started in the corner area, right? Like the equivalent in lacrosse would be like from X, like the ball started in X, like below the line, right?
So,
which hockey would be the red line, like if the goal line extended, right? If you like where the net is,
the goal line goes across.
Yeah, like that's where like the ball started from. We call it GLE in lacrosse, a goal line extended.
Yeah, it's just a goal line in hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. Again, like I could definitely see if they start making that shit mandatory. But like girls
Yeah, I mean,
lacrosse, they only have to wear the eye thing.
correct, which is also really stupid. I've been saying since high school that,
Doesn't protect your nose or face,
right,
just your eyes, which
literally
important.
since high
Like
school, I've been saying you should just give the girls full pads and let them play lacrosse. Because girls lacrosse, for anyone out there that's watched, is not lacrosse.
that's a
They
different topic then.
they either need to call it something else or give them all the like give them full pads and let them play the game. I am all for giving them full pads and letting them play the game because I think that that's equality, right? Like, to play lacrosse. Like, you should be able to play lacrosse. You shouldn't have to play some like watered down fucking, oh, well, we have to be careful because they're girls version of lacrosse. No, fuck that. Give them helmets, pads, helmets, shoulder pads, elbow pads, gloves, and let them fucking play the game. That's been my stance again since high school when I played.
I would say I've never watched a game of girls lacrosse anyway,
It's
so
fucking painful.
I know like some of the rules are just they're
We
tough.
call it a whistle interrupted by a game. It's literally
That's
all
the
it
other
is.
thing too. Like the way I've heard it described between field hockey and girls lacrosse, everybody screams for like 15 seconds, then there's a whistle,
Yep.
and then everyone screams for 15 seconds until the next whistle.
Yep. Basically, that's how it goes. So, you want to wrap this first one up here?
Yeah, let's wrap the first one
All
up.
right. What do you got?
I have a few things, but I gotta pull up my stupid sheet because I pull it up and then close my phone and it goes away. Oh, yes. Um, so on Halloween, we took Leo for a walk, and as we're walking back down our driveway, you can hear a thump and you can see a squirrel bounce off the driveway.
Oh God.
Squirrel fell out of a tree.
Sick.
Now, we don't know if foul play is involved, but I kind of thought that like they'd be like cats, where it's like if they fall, they'll kind of like end up on their feet.
Yeah.
Nope. Fell out of the tree. Big thump. That was it.
Just laid there.
Just that was that.
Yeah. Probably fucking cracked his skull.
Dude, like so if like when they say if like oh if you fall out of a plane or whatever into the ocean, it's like that water is like hitting concrete.
Yeah.
Well, this squirrel just hit concrete.
Pretty solid.
So yeah, I mean, I kind of thought they would like I thought they'd be like better on their feet or like they wouldn't fall out of trees. I don't know. So that's why maybe foul plays involved. Like
Yeah, maybe he got fucking
could
thrown
be a
out of the tree by
could be a bird that
be
had
a
it out for
rival
him.
squirrel.
Could be a rival squirrel, like maybe an acorn situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, no word on if foul play is involved. And think, well, I mean, not well, we saw it from far away, but like Leo had no idea.
Yeah.
No clue.
All right. So my final thought is also animal related. There have been wild javelinas, which for anyone that doesn't know what those are, they're just small pigs.
Okay.
Mexican pigs, if you will.
Okay.
They have been digging up golf courses in Arizona. So it's been a legitimate problem for one course in particular, because there's a whole article about it. The course's superintendent has been going on and on. The assistant superintendent has been documenting the whole thing on social media, which is where it like, got all this like interest and all this stuff. And now people are talking about it. They've tried everything. They've even tried covering the course in chili oil is the one thing I saw, to keep the javelinas away, but that didn't even work. So they just keep digging up the greens. So apparently the greens are like unplayable. and they just fucking up the course everywhere they go. So my thing is they need to open javelina season in Arizona because that's fucking ridiculous. They're just going to sit there and like let these fucking pigs destroy golf courses. It makes me want to be like, hey, you want to just go take a trip to Arizona and go pig hunting?
Well, it's almost like the shit in Texas.
Well, yeah, because
Now
there's
you
so
can't do
many.
that, but
Well, I mean,
well, you could
you
elsewhere. You
could.
can't do it on the golf course.
Yeah. I mean, you could shut down the course and
You
rent a
so
helicopter
yeah,
to
so like
fucking
hey, like I know like aeration is like key for the golf course, but I don't know if a bunch of fucking
lead into
lead
the
and bullet
ground.
shells in the ground are great for growing.
Yeah, probably not.
But they got to be coming from somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
Or every hole gets like a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
Or a wolfhound. Something that would scare these fucking things away.
Yeah. Need a bunch of dogs.
Plus, then you'd have 18 golf course doggos.
Yeah. Yeah, so it turns out that javelinas are a protected species in
Oh
Arizona.
no.
Yeah.
Well, you need the dogs because the dogs will just chase them away.
Yeah. It says they do have a hunting season, but it is only a couple months out of the year because they're protected.
So they're protected and invasive.
Yeah,
Rough.
they used a 1 million Scoville chili oil to keep these fuckers away. And they said
64'd it.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit. We're going to keep eating everything. They just eat all of the fucking grass and dig up all the greens. So I'm seeing
Yeah. So I don't know.
pictures
I
right
don't
now.
know.
It looks really fucking bad.
I
Like
don't
you
know
can't
what
play.
I don't know what dog is best for this job, but there has to be one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think dog's probably the way to go if you can't get a hunting season on them. Because anytime you do weird like predator shit, it always just goes awry. Like it's like people never take the second level thought to think about like the downstream effects, right? Like they do it all the time, like, or they have done it, right? And not that they really do it all the time, but they'll say like they did it in Yellowstone, right? Like they were like, oh, there's too many deer in Yellowstone. Okay, so let's introduce a wolf. Okay, so they brought the wolf in and the wolf killed all the deer, and then they have a wolf problem. So then they killed all the wolves back in like the 80s or the 90s. And now all the fucking deer and elk are like out of control again. So they just brought the wolf back. But now they're like allowing wolf hunting, or like not hunting, but like they're like culling certain populations, whatever. They're trying to keep the population under control. It's like, well, yeah, like because no one thinks about like, oh, this one thing is getting out of control. Oh, we'll just introduce a predator that eats it. Well, okay, well, what happens when that predator goes out of control? You know what I mean? Like they never. So
Wolfhounds.
yeah, like I think the dog is the way to go because it's not that the dog is going to just fucking become a predator. They're just going to chase him away.
Exactly.
Yeah, or a bunch of boar bulls. Imagine just have a 200-pound mastiff just running around the golf course.
Whatever. The only thing is like you can't have it can't be like a Saint Bernard. They're too lazy. It's gotta be someone who's up for the task. And
Yeah.
like even like a Cane Corso, like they're guardians.
Yeah.
Like they hang and they ward off what comes to them.
Right.
They don't go.
Right. Right.
They don't seek out the trouble. Maybe Belgians. Or I mean, again, maybe even just like maybe all you need is a border collie because they'll just be like, okay, pigs, we're going this way.
Yeah. Hey, go over here.
And the pigs are like, nah, we're here. Like, nope, we're going.
Yeah.
We're going this way.
Hey, have you guys seen what's over there? Let's go over there.
Yep, let's go. Where the fuck are you going? We're going this way. Randall, let's move.
So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of funny, and also shitty, right? Obviously,
Yeah, it sucks.
obviously we golf quite a bit, and it's unfortunate to see a golf course get literally destroyed
Yeah,
by
it blows.
by pigs.
pigs, ATVs. It's all shitty.
Yeah. So that's going to do it for us. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that button up top, hit the thumbs up down below. Keep spreading the word. Tell everybody you know about the show. If you're an audio only listener, you can subscribe as well. If you use Spotify or Apple, you can give us 5 stars and a review. That would be much appreciated. What else we got? You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. We're on Twitter at Sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Website sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. While you're buying shit, you can go to noonbrew.com. Use the promo code in the show notes below to get 10% off your order every single time you check out. Then you can go to the Pod Company to get yourself an ice plunge. And again, use the promo code below and you'll get $10 off plus free shipping over there. And then lastly, there is mybookie.com. So you go to mybookie.com, use the promo code sarcasmpod that time, and they will double your first deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up over there. So that is going to do it for us. Until next time, which is a couple minutes for us, but a few days for you guys. Good night, everybody.